Ladies and gentlemen, we are live here in our new office, and I'm here with Arthur, and we're going to ask Arthur a couple of questions. Arthur, tell me a little bit about how cold calling works. This will be a 1-minute interview, followed by some bad calls. When you get those bad calls, how does it work?
Yeah, I mean, the way prospecting in reality, the way it works is a lot like UFC fighting. I mean, when you get that victory, when you get that appointment, and I'm sure you know the feeling, it is like you just...
It feels like,
BAM! Like you just knocked somebody out. You got the victory, you're fighting for a championship fight, but it still stings and it still hurts when people hang up on you. When people...
Feels like, BAM!
Yeah, and people do it all the time. Sometimes they yell at you, they swear at you, they say mean things, but you have to learn to master your emotional state if you're going to be successful in prospecting.
Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
How do you bounce back? Is it a trampoline effect?
Yeah, well, actually, I could tell you a quick story about how to bounce back. We're conditioned. A lot of things we do is habit. So, for example, if you're scared every time to call, and you get into a habit after when somebody picks up the phone, you automatically hang up, eventually you'll see yourself doing that automatically. But if you train yourself by doing it over and over and over again to automatically, instead of going to Facebook, instead of going to Twitter, instead of going for a drink when you have a bad call, but automatically ring the next number until you talk to another person, you don't get off the phone. If you condition yourself to do that, it'll be natural, it'll be automatic. And you'll get to a point where you'll still feel the pain, but naturally your habit will call the next person and you'll stay on the phone. You won't find an excuse to get off the phone.
For some reason, instead of, running to get a drink or a coffee, I feel like I have to pee right after I get hung up on.
Yeah, and a lot of people do. What you're talking about there is actually a spontaneous reaction.
So is my body naturally conditioned to pee after I get hung up?
Yeah, because you're finding an excuse. So, like, as soon as you notice you come to the office, and a lot of people who haven't prospected, they don't build a bunker, they don't build an environment where they can be successful. They'll come in there, and all of a sudden now you're hungry, you got to pee, you got to go grab a coffee. And then the next thing you know, a half hour goes by, it's already 11 o'clock, and you're by the water cooler talking. And that's you psychologically conditioning yourself to avoid pain and drive yourself towards pleasure, because it's not going to hurt talking to a couple of people in the office. But do you know what the biggest problem with that is, Dave?
Yeah, what is it, man? Tell us.
You won't get the results, and you won't accomplish your goal, and you won't have the life you want. But you can condition yourself to play, and you condition yourself to work. And I mean, that's what it comes down to.
That's what it comes down to. So don't let laziness set in, because if laziness sets in, you're not going to make calls, and then you're going to go home, and you're not going to be able to sleep at night, because you're going to be so disappointed with your performance. And, right, you have a hard time sleeping?
No, I actually sleep like a baby. If you work hard, you'll never have a hard time sleeping. But you know what happens is it's more than just laziness. We're all driven by pain and pleasure. And what happens in this case is we think of it and we make the problem bigger in our head, and then psychologically, by creating a habit of going to the bathroom every time, it's not even about pain and pleasure anymore. You just built a habit over time.
You just have to pee.
Yeah, just like if I made you prospect for 30 days, you know nothing about the business, but you worked for me. You were an hourly employee, and I was like, Dave, come in here and you make phone calls for 1 hour every day. After 30 or so days, you would come in and I'd say, Dave, you could do whatever you want. That employee would actually ring the phone for an hour, and he wouldn't go to the bathroom, he wouldn't pee, because he'd be conditioned to do that result.
30 days. It takes 66 days to build a habit. Maybe you should say.
Well, yeah, 66 days on average statistically it does take to build a habit, but it depends what the habit is. It could be in as little as 10 days.
All right, great. Hey, pleasure talking to you. We'll see you next week on $1 Million Listing.
Yep, definitely.